welcome to a brand new channel, a brand new episodes. This here is the Rebel Nation. We are going to be talking about everything in a commentary and conversation style. And this will be kind of like a short version of our Motley Crew we have on Wednesdays and Saturday nights on Rumble. So make sure you go over there and follow us at rumble.com, the Motley Crew, and give us some love over there and come watch us. We get into some pretty decisive conversations. Today we're going to be talking about The Sound of Freedom, the Jim Caviezel movie that just came out. And there's already conspiracy theories, and of course the left is going crazy about it and everything else. And so that's what's fueling up the conspiracy theories on what's going on with the theaters and all that good stuff. And we'll get into that. Man, this movie is kind of crazy. It kind of bothers me a little bit because it did take 2 years for it to come out. I don't understand why. I mean, the only thing I can think of, if you want to talk about conspiracy theories and all that stuff, the only thing I can think of why it didn't come out is because the Epstein trial was going on at that time. And I'm sure this probably touched a lot of nerves about what all went with Epstein and everything else. So um, now that he's over, and yeah, that's a whole nother story. We'll get into that. We might talk about that next Saturday night. But The Sound of Freedom, like I said, has touched the nerves on the left, not just one, but many. It says in the early scenes of the movie, preteen girls enticed into what appears to be a talent audition. The true intention quickly becomes evident, and encourage engages suggestive poses, and that's kind of what That's how they get them. There's several interviews out there from ex pedophiles and everything else that supposedly have turned their ways around, but you know it's still a sickening and disgusting idea, and it's crazy how many children go missing through this here. I mean, it's just amazing. And the left has been sitting there saying that the stats are overrun, the stats are inflated and all this was just, oh, I don't know. And like I said, I'm not a leftist, I'm not a rightist. I follow it, and I look at both sides. I look down the middle. I kind of watch both sides as I'm flowing down the river and everything else to see what's going on. I mean, because there's some things on the left side I agree with, and some things on the right side. But this year is just kind of crazy. The fact is that they're calling for, you know, in the Rolling Stone. You know what? I've never picked up a Rolling Stone magazine in my life, and I never will because they're just totally freaking ridiculous. But Rolling Stone comes out and sits there and says it's just a piece of fiction. Um, The Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brain worms. It becomes clear that something is odd in that hit a piece written by Miles Klee. I mean, I always knew they were like very, 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 very hard left anyways. Not just like mid left. They're like all the way on the other side, about ready to drop off into their own dimension. Um, but I don't know. It's the fact is this movie was brought out to expose what is going on. They used an act. I mean, yes, it's Hollywood, but it was oversaw by the gentleman that actually does this for a living, and it's not like it was something that was just made up by Hollywood. I think for the fact that Angel Studios took it over from Disney. See, that's just it. Disney's the one that had it and was supposed to air it, what, in 2018 or 2020, 2022, 20. What year are we in? I don't even remember anymore. But yeah, so they Angel Studios bought the rights to it and published it, which I don't know. It's just crazy. But the fact is, now there's conspiracy theories going around that the left is trying to silence it by this TikTok went viral the other day. It's like trying to stop the movie. AMC customer says theater discouraged from seeing Sound of Music by saying AC was out. So there's a lot of these Twitter posts, and it all stemmed, I'm assuming, from this one TikToker. And it just kind of like flooded. But the only thing that I can find, and I've asked and I put feelers out and everything else, are there any other theater brands that are experiencing the same problem? And if you guys are seeing this, and if you guys went to another theater and you had the same issues, please let me know in the comments or go to the Twitter, the Nation Underground, or the Motley Crew, and give me some information because right now it's only one sided. They're saying AMC is the only theater that is stifling this movie, which I mean, Adam Aaron is a big leftist supporter. He does support the Biden campaign. He does, I mean, that's all he's ever done. Most of his money's gone to Biden for president, you know, California for Democrats. Um, that's all he's ever done was so he's a Democrat. He's a Democrat supporter, Democrat leftist. But and you know, AMC has, you know, AMC is its own story. It's been a shady deal for the last 2 years. And when they went bankrupt, they had, you know, the whole thing that happened with the stock exchange to where they had a organ or a group kind of like Wall Street Bets come in and boost the stock and make him shit tons of money and make everybody else shit tons of money off of it as well, because they were shorting it, but allegedly. Anyways, it's like, so like I said, the only thing I've been able to see, the only thing I've been able to find is they're just complaining about AMC theaters. So I wouldn't say it was a conspiracy theory from the leftists. I would just say it was probably, I don't know. I mean, like I said, AMC is run, or is owned by the left side supporters, but come on. I mean, so far, and there's things that I've seen that say, oh, there's hundreds and hundreds of theaters out there that have been out. Okay, I haven't had any. I've only seen like a few posts and everything else. Like I said, I've put feelers out to find out, and we'll touch back up on this later if it does come out and there's more theaters. But right now, they're just saying AMC, and uh, I don't know. It's just kind of funny that AMC, because I mean, all right, movies or movie theaters rely on movies. They rely on movies to pay their wages. Concessions, yes, and like I said, as this financial expert from TikTok, you know, I watch him quite a bit. He's pretty intelligent, but um, he was going through on. I wanted to find out exactly what movie theaters made because I know they get a certain percentage of the ticket sales, and I know they get a bigger percentage of the concession sales because that's the reason why concession sales are so high. I think he explained here they're like 1,200% higher than what it costs a movie theater, like 57 cents for a bag of popcorn. You're buying it for $8. So yeah, they're making a shit ton of money off of that. But the fact is, you know, and then you get all the other upkeep, rental, all that stuff. And it does cost money to bargain or to, um, what I want to say, to negotiate terms to have movies in your theater because not every movie, they only allow so many films to go out. And I think there's like 2,000 theaters, a little over 2,000 theaters that are showing The Sound of Freedom, which it did very, very well in the opening night. I mean, it's kind of dropped off now, kind of leveled out, but they said that's about normal. It's like the first couple of nights, opening night, and everything else. But if everybody was going to the theater on opening night or the second night, and people were complaining about ACs, I'm sure that probably hindered some of the ticket sales, because people are too freaking locked into TikTok and social media in general. But he was sitting there saying that he was shocked to find out movie studios actually take 80% to 100% of the movie theater sales revenue the first 2 weeks. So, with that, I mean, right now, this here is for the weekend of July 7th through July 9th, just this past weekend. The Sound of Freedom is number third on the IMDb um, movie ratings or movie rankings. They list all the movies by theaters and everything else. And right now, they're grossing 18 million. Yeah, or 40 million, sorry, $40 million. They've grossed $40 million in since July, just this weekend. This weekend alone. This is just this weekend. Of course, you know, Insidious, you're always going to get horror movies that do better than anything else. Everybody's just a horror fan. Indiana Jones, I don't believe that. I really don't believe that because of the fact is Indiana Jones was record last week when I was watching it was a record to be like tanking big time. So that's kind of hard to believe. Either that or the information that I got was wrong, which is possible, very possible. But yeah, it's in 2,852 theaters. Um, Total gross this weekend as of July 10th, which is today, um, $40 million. They've taken in $40 million, which the total gross has overdone the Red Door. Hasn't come close to Disney yet, but Disney is down 56% in sales. So, but The Sound of Freedom is still doing pretty good, and I think, like I said, I think everybody's just kind of. I think a lot of that has to do too with the drop in sales. It might be too because people are, they're asking for refunds on the money. I'm sorry. I mean, AC, it just goes to, I mean, yeah, it's very uncomfortable, but if you want to go watch a movie, I mean, I don't know. That's a whole different thing. I probably wouldn't ask for my money back, but I'd probably sit through it just because that's who I am. Um, but yeah, let's see. On Tuesday, which was opening day, um, they had 22 releases. They grossed $38 million in the first, or yeah, no, grossed $14 million in the first opening day. But I don't know. This is, like I said, the fact is that people are sitting there complaining that the ACs were out, and it's a leftist conspiracy theory and everything else. I mean, there's good basis on that. Like I said, he does present, he does do a lot of business with the left. But I don't know. Like I said, until people come up with some more information and come up with some more, like I said, the only thing I see is one side, and it can't be just AMC theaters. If everybody else is having issues with the ACs in the theaters, please leave in the comments and let me know what theater. I don't care where you're at. I just want to know what theater. And I don't know. Maybe we'll figure it out. But I don't know. It's just the whole thing that, and that's just my issue. It's just like I don't think the theater itself would shut down the movie and make people not want to go because it's been done in the past. There's been movies out in the past. There used to be a movie 10 years ago, 11 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, 10 years ago that came out. It was called Divorce Court. It was a big controversial movie about divorce and how it was a $80 billion a year revenue, which it's probably more than that now. But they were only allowed to show it in select theaters, and then it wasn't there very long. They only allowed them to show it because it was a tell all on how the divorce system is corrupt and everything else, the court system and stuff. So you don't want to see that. These people that are in business making money, they don't want people to tell on them and show them that you know they're scamming you for everything you got. But the fact is that movie theaters, and especially Yang sits there and says that 80% of AMC's revenue, or not, sorry, 35% of AMC's revenue is from concessions, and 65% is from ticket sales because they negotiate better deals, better contracts, and everything else because they're just a bigger company and they negotiate. I mean, it's just it. And there might not be a lot of theaters depending on the area that you live in. That is, like blue states probably will be less reluctant. Oh my God, I can't speak. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, doesn't want to show it. Blooper. Anyways, doesn't want to show the film just for the fact because they're a blue state, and this is a highly controversial. What they're classifying it as a QAnon type movie, which I mean is crazy. But I don't know. I don't see AMC doing it on purpose. And I would like to know too, is there more AMC theaters that are doing it? I mean, is it something that AMC is just doing it nationwide where they're showing the movies? I mean, there's only 2,800 theaters that are showing the movies right now. But come on, I mean, let me know. Let me know in the comments. But the fact is that 65% of AMC's ticket sales, and I'm sure they probably negotiated a good contract for this one here. So I could believe that they're probably making 65% of ticket sales and probably a lot more in concessions too, especially if the ACs were. And maybe that's just it. Maybe that's a conspiracy theory. They want you to drink more. AC goes out, you want more. That's just it. Most companies do that. I remember going to New York one time. It was in the dead of summer. You know, we walked through downtown Manhattan and everybody had their doors open. All the businesses had their doors open. And when you walk by, you felt the AC hit you. And I asked my friend that I was with, and I sat there and go, why do they, are they wasting AC? Why do they do that? Because it's a sales tactic. You walk by, it's 110 degrees out, no air, no nothing else. You walk by a cool down business, you know, the AC hits you, you automatically go into that store. It's a sales tactic, you know. So I don't know. I'm not saying they do, you know, but you turn off the AC during the heat in a movie that's going to have a lot of people, you're going to get thirsty. And when you get thirsty, you're probably going to want some popcorn. You know, your kids are going to want candy. They're, if they did this on purpose by shutting ACs off or their ACs broke down. I mean, I think I've only seen one post so far. They said that only the AC in that theater was shut down, which they don't run that way. They don't have independent AC units for each theater. I can almost guarantee it. It's probably like 10 or 15 units up on top of the building that run the entire building. They probably have zones they're able to control, but I don't believe that they would be able to control each theater. So I could probably debunk that one. But like I said, I think if they were shutting ACs off, it was probably more of a sales tactic to get you to come buy more drinks than it was for you not to see the movie. Um, but you never know. We'll see how that unfolds as it goes through. Hey, oh, thank you for watching this video. If you like what you see, please hit that like, subscribe, comment, anything. Just give us some love, any type of love. And we'll be touching up on all these subjects that you see and bringing you updates and everything else that comes along. And if you have a topic that you would like to see, please leave it in the comments or hit us up on Twitter and DM us what you think or just put it in the timeline. We don't care. And make sure you check us out on Rumble. We'll be live on Rumble coming soon with this channel with the Rebel Nation. But we are live every Wednesday and Saturday night on Rumble at the Motley Crew. That link will also be in the description. But check out all the other videos, and we'll see you guys next time. You have a good rest of your day. Peace.